Let's start that again, not on double speed. Oh, weren't they the good old days? Good morning, Grooveroonies. Oh, no, hang on. It's Smooth Criminal. Hello, everybody. I don't have a camera. I was setting up my kitchen to do some cooking. And I thought, no, I need to go live. So there's no me today. I'm just a talking avatar. But the reason I just played that was, well, it links into what I'm talking about today. So firstly, let's say get some g'days as people are, the good folk are rolling in. Hi, yep, so what? Scout Inquirer, hello, beautiful. You might get to see Sunny Girl because no camera. Mind you, she's asleep on a rug behind me that you wouldn't see her anyway. Lindy Lou, good morning to you. Miss Kay, hello. I did an awesome job of the intro. Well, that was actually a video I made a year ago for Mallery. And it's sort of relevant for what we're talking about today with Mallery now and what she's up to. But I made that for her because back in the day, at one point she was called Lovers Inc. I made her that little video because I started making little videos for different creators. It was a thing I was sort of getting into. I thought so many people are just negative and critical and awful on YouTube. I'm going to make little videos highlighting the quirks of different creators. And for Mallery at the time, she used to critique the dickheads and fuckwits of YouTube. And she did it. Hello, Sandra M. How are you? She did it in a style that was hilarious and relevant. And she was very good at calling out people who deserved a bit of a kick up the clacker. But she also used to keep notes. She had notebooks. And so that was the whole point of me going on the hunt to find her the perfect notebook for her to put her little notes in for while she was calling out people. I just want to show you guys this too, because Mallery loved it at the time. And I just want to prove it because, you know, we have to bring receipts, don't we? I mean, it's YouTube after all. So here's the comment that I actually pinned. I used to be able to expand these pages on my screen, but for some reason I can't anymore. But if you have a little look there, House of Williams, 1 year ago, I can't think of anything that's ever been done for me on YouTube like this, ever, that has been done with so much thought behind it, not to mention the amount of work it took the work it took. I want to thank you so much. Kiss, smiley face. This has really put me into the sky today. Thank you, lover. And then I responded, but she didn't come back. But that's all right. So it went down well. And so that's why I was kind of surprised when she joined the troops in Savannah, Georgia, the inverted commas protesters in the Quinton Simon case, which of course tragically we now know that it has obviously been confirmed that he is no longer here, and his mother, Leilani Simon, has been arrested and charged with murder. But Mallery joined Heels on the Ground down in Savannah, Georgia. And yesterday when it was announced that Leilani had been arrested, we went live, and on my drive home, and we called it. We said they're all going to come out and take credit for this. Now, I know that a few channels have already looked at Bullhorn Betty's reaction, which wasn't anything. I don't think any of us were surprised by her reaction. But on my beach walk this morning, I was actually listening to Mallery. I joined into her live quite late. Well, I don't know how late into it was, but she was already live when I joined in. And she was terribly excited. Let me just get the video up because I will be reacting. I'm really sorry that I am unable to. Oh, see, part of me, I want to show maybe I will show the chat as well, because they're part of the problem after all. Let me just add this. So that's what we're doing today is I just want to react to some of the things that she said in her celebratory live this morning. We did it. Hashtag Leilani Simon arrested after ongoing pressure campaign. This is where I have an issue. Now, I still really like Mallery. I think Mallery's hilarious, and I think Mallery should take those Gucci sunglasses and run the fuck away. But I'm not here to tell her who she can support or where she goes or what she does. Like, she's an independent woman and she can do whatever she wants with her channel. That's not what I'm here to talk about. And in fact, I think I chose Mallery because I'm less likely to say horrible things about her because I do like her. Whereas Bullhorn Betty, it'll be hard for me to be nice. But her time is coming. Don't you worry about that. But I just want to jump ahead a little bit first because I didn't hear the start of it. But I want to jump into sort of, I think, roughly where I might have been. It was during the press conference. So I'm just forwarding to that. And I was instantly confused.
Just a footnote there. Continue.
Committed to bringing justice for Quinton and to appreciate the amount of human effort, the amount of human emotion that goes into a case like this, and to...
Now, I got to say, Mallery, your hair's looking fucking awesome. Keep that look. Looks great. Looks absolutely gorgeous. Loving the hair. But what's with the music that's playing in the background? This is where I was like, whoa. Because it's creepy clown music, which is sort of perfect for the clown show that descended upon Savannah, Georgia. Like, you couldn't... I mean, this is the sort of music you would expect under a clip channel calling this shit out to have underneath it. But she's got this playing. And that's why I want to go to the start and find out why she put the clown music. I'll play a little bit more of it just in case anyone missed it. The mother's arrest had fuck all to do with these morons, although I have had lots of giggles watching these people at yours and others' chatters' suggestions. Look, the arrest had nothing to do with it, and that's what we're definitely going to be talking about. But also there's a few other things I want to critique as well. But I couldn't get over it. I'm walking along the beach and I've gone, oh, Mallory's live. She'll be pretty pumped, I'm sure, thinking that all of those people standing outside the house causing a nuisance and potentially interfering with the course of justice had something to do with this arrest. In fact, to be honest, I feel like the protest prolonged the arrest personally, but, resources were stretched already, and not just for the poor, unfortunate people that comb through all of that rubbish at the landfill looking for Quinton, but also, other crimes and things taking place in Savannah, Georgia, requiring police attention that was diverted because they had to keep going back to these bloody protesters. And I know officially 5 were arrested. There may have been more. I remember when Dolly got arrested, he was number 5. But guys, what's the deal here? I'll just get this video lined up properly. What's the deal with this weird music?
Like Bullhorn Betty, right? Like Molly? You think there was emotion there, right? Or is their emotion doesn't count? Because let me tell you, their emotion was on full fucking blast, baby. Holy shit. And
she does actually heckle this guy giving the press conference. But they were referred to, the Heels on the Ground crew were referred to as hecklers as well. But I really just want to get the music bit happening. That's because we will be looking at some of this later. Again, Mallery, looking awesome. Hair looks fabulous.
Arrested 22-year-old Leilani Simon and charged her with malice murder, concealing the death of another person, false reporting, and making false statements.
I mean, there's people in her chat dancing to it with clown tents. This is so ironic. I mean, this is the sort of music I would expect Heels in the Air to have under one of these little videos. Oh, I hope you go okay at the doctor's, Miss Kay. Have a beautiful day. Don't go to bed, Ruth Walton. You stick around. But yeah, hair on point, Mallory. But I don't understand what is with this music she's got playing. And I don't know, has someone else got the press conference and put the music under it and that's what she's playing? Because I just noticed before it stopped when she started talking. But it's just so weird.
The connection with the disappearance and death of her son, 20-month-old Quinton Simon. Leilani Simon is being held at the Chatham County Detention Center and is awaiting a bond hearing. We do not anticipate any other arrests in this case.
Okay, what I just wanted to reiterate one more time, she's arrested, she's in the detention center, and she, just so you know, it is one of the most serious charges anyone can be arrested with in Georgia. The malice murder, right? She could be facing the death penalty. Wouldn't hold your breath for it. Don't hold your breath for it, right? Don't worry about that today, but don't hold your breath on that one. Listen.
Now, I did actually look up malice murder because I had never heard of it before. But the easiest way to explain it for everyone is it's the way Georgia essentially describes what is described as first-degree murder in other states of the US of A. According to Georgia law, express malice is that deliberate intention unlawfully to take the life of another human being which is manifested by external circumstances capable of proof. Malice is implied when no considerable provocation appears and where all the circumstances of the killing show an abandoned and malignant heart. Isn't that interesting terminology to have in legislation, showing an abandoned and malignant heart? I mean, to be honest, we're in Australia, it's murder, basically, and if there's no malice intended, then it's manslaughter, but that might explain it to people, because I know there's quite a few US creators who hadn't heard of it either. It seems to be specific to Georgia. because when I Googled it on the Wikipedia, it only mentioned the state of Georgia. But hey, old woman, you've been a night owl your whole life. Good to see you. So let me get back to the start because I want to see what Mallery says. And also I really want to delve into this whole creating awareness thing. Because it seems that Molly, Bullhorn Betty, and Mallery, the big thing, and I don't know about that other guy, whose name I can't even remember because he's such a blip. Justin, Justice for All. It's all about, we brought awareness to this case. None of this would have happened if we hadn't have brought awareness. That's what I'm going to be talking about shortly. But let's see how Mallory's celebratory stream started. All right, so the music is her. Creepy, creepy music. Creep, 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 creepy, creepy music. What the fuck? Hey, Jen Lou. All right, enough of that. Is that some sort of intro that just keeps...
Stop in every fucking car.
I mean, Mallory's pumped.
I've got a little presentation for you all today. I do. I've got a nice presentation for y'all today. Sure in the hell do. Oh, goodness. Oh, my God, looking gorgeous. Thank you. Let's have a little foreplay. Let's...
Okay. The chat, her chat are loving the hair, which I am too. I think her hair looks awesome. Stick with that, do. Hey, Mel, I wasn't sure if you'd be awake or not. That will feature when I do my first episode. Well, not my first, because I've done the intros. Part 2 of the Misunderstood Empaths of YouTube. This is actually me responding to the tragedy pimps and their delusions of grandeur, taking credit for what happened with Leilani Simon yesterday. Mallory's not actually on my list of potentials for the empaths, the misunderstood empaths, because actually my experiences with her, she is an empath. Like she does show compassion and so on. Although I think in this live, because we're looking at her celebrating the victory of heels on the ground. She's all about having a party and a good time, which, is a bit sad because, of course, this is all happening because a 20-month-old baby was murdered by his mother, allegedly. She hasn't been found guilty yet. But, Melmo, that song is going to feature. In fact, I might even whack it on at the end. We'll probably need a bit of a laugh. Although, no, this is a reaction live, so hopefully you'll have some chuckles along the way. But, yeah, let's get on with it. So there's a bit of foreplay before they start talking about the arrest of Leilani Simon. I mean, I'm not saying people need to be miserable, but you got to kind of find it. It's a fine line. It's a fine line. And one of the things I heard Mallery say when I was on the beach, right when someone was asking a question of the cop during the press conference, Mallery actually said some of these questions are really boring, and then you hear the rest of the cop's response, which ended with the words partial remains. And I was like, this is where I think creators have just got to stop their mics, listen to stuff, and then respond. This sort of talking over, and the timing was just terrible. Some of these questions are boring, and he was being questioned about what they'd found, and he was responding they'd found partial remains. Well, I don't know, but that's a bit icky to me. Don't get me wrong, we all talk over shit and do the wrong stuff from time to time, but I guess in the back of my mind, I'm always aware that the subject matter is very sensitive and somber. It's not quite, let's cartwheel down the beach kind of thing. But this is where these predictable lives from the heels on the ground circus, they have failed to disappoint, unfortunately. Here we go.
Let's have a little foreplay here at No Laughing Matter, shall we?
I'm not sure why she's calling it No Laughing Matter, because there's a shitload of laughing coming up.
Justice loves when I do that. He loves when I go, It's his thing. It's his thing, right? Hello, Mallery.
It's kind of a limp intro because she's very excited. I mean, we did it, the title screams. Let me jump in a bit further. This is all the meet and greet stuff, whatever.
To represent the House of Williams and my channel. Thank you, Amber, so much, my love. Thank you, right? Listen, and so many other people that came out and represented, and just to cheer us on.
And this is the problem. It's the people cheering them on. I mean, there's Karen Davis in the chat. We're proud of you, our very own Nancy Grace. What the fuck? No. No. And I'm going to say it now in case I forget later on. Now I've forgotten what I was going to say, for frig's sake. They're bringing awareness. I'm going to prove that they didn't bring awareness. They shouldn't be going. I heard Molly Golightly say, if we hadn't have done this, no one would have heard about this case. No one was talking about him. Just type Quinton Simon into the YouTube search bar for starters and see how many channels were covering it from the very first day that story broke. But the delusions of grandeur are incredible. Realistically, all the heels on the ground people do is bring awareness to their subscribers who must live in a fucking bubble if they think that nobody in the world would have known about this case if it wasn't for these people. Because they're all there like, I'm so glad all of you brought more attention to this innocent little guy. Well, that's true, actually, Deborah. They did bring more attention, but it wasn't good attention. It was bad. And let me talking about that too. The only attention they brought to this was letting their subscribers, who I don't know why, don't access any news services or, I don't know, just explore the internet outside of the YouTube creators they follow. They're the only ones they brought awareness to. Everyone else knew about this story. Yeah, I hope you get some sleep. I do hope you get some sleep, Mel. Sweet dreams. That storm sounds horrible. I've made the slick comment, but those are for roasts. Yeah, exactly. And that's what Mallery used to be great at. She used to roast like a demon. And like I said, she can go wherever she wants. I just think, take the Gucci sunnies and run. I mean, Mallery was there for a day. And all she brought awareness to, in my opinion, for me, as a viewer of that bloody circus that was going on, is that there's some hot-looking dudes in Savannah, Georgia. She kind of rocked up, had that really awkward meet with Molly, got the sunnies, looked good in them, was out there the next day, sweltering and just kind of watching on, like, I don't know, in bewildered awe, I guess. Wasn't really shouting or anything. And the next thing you know, she's eyeing off the hot boys driving past in cars, and the next I heard she was having dinner somewhere, and that was it. I mean, bless her, I'm all for minimum effort, maximum gain. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. I know, Nancy Grace. Well, I'm trying to have some fun with it, yep, so what? So hopefully you can have some chuckles at their expense here anyway. Oh, you've got to get the little dude back off to school too. Hang in there, Mel. The backpack. Oh, I don't know what you two are talking about. The backpack song from Dora the Explorer. Don't know that song. All right, let's keep going. I've got much to say.
Right? Listen. And the community members, I can't tell you just in that one day and night how many community members I met, I seen, how many community members were tooting at me as they drove by and waving. Listen, right? We invoked energy in that entire community. Without us being there, right? That would never have happened. It just
What wouldn't have happened? Gawkers from your community driving down a quiet neighbourhood street where people are entitled to peaceful enjoyment of their homes? Is that of which you are speaking?
Would never have happened. So I am so proud that we were able to keep the heat going under everybody's asses. Everybody's.
You weren't. They had to comb through a landfill to find the remains of a tiny baby who would have been by that point in time severely decomposed, and God knows what his mother did to him. He may not have even been in one bag. I mean, I hate to say it. You didn't keep the heat under them. They were working as hard as they could, but it's a painstakingly slow process. They have to comb through so much rubbish to find, I think someone yesterday, and I know this is awful, but someone described it like looking for a chicken bone, really. They didn't need heat under them. They were already doing it painstakingly. What happened was you put the heat on them by them having to divert their resources out to that area. And 5 people were arrested. They were constantly being called out there. And this is where I'm confused by this. These delusions of grandeur, how can they speak with such confidence and believe that they did something incredible when most people can just look at it and go, this was absolutely fucked up. You interfered with everything. And Mallory's the least offender. I mean, she's curious, I guess, and is now part of the Heels on the Ground crew. But she was a blow-in, blow-out sort of person. But the amount of time that Dolly and Bullhorn Betty and Molly wasted resources was incredible. How do they not get that what they do is bad? Yes, you wouldn't have had a father come out because his son has sensory issues, or the ambulance wouldn't have shown up to remove an elderly lady in hospice, you dicks. You don't know me at all. It was utterly gross. And this is why my eyes are out on sticks about this, because I don't understand the delusion in all of them. Like anything you do in life, any decision you make, you question the pros and the cons. And then you make an informed decision based on that. You work out which is the right way to go for you. That's usually how I operate in my life. I question everything, even things I'm confident about. I'm like, no, this is definitely what I'm going to do. I'm still looking at all the other options. But these guys are just like 100% convinced what they did was amazing. And Leilani was arrested and charged yesterday because of them, in a nutshell. It's insane.
From everyone inside that home to everyone down at that sheriff's station, that sheriff didn't dare give up. He didn't dare say, you know what, let's pull back this week. Let's cut that search in the landfill down. You know, attention is dying down now. We've looked long enough. We've spent enough money.
That was never going to happen, and this is the problem. They are paid professionals who want to bring guilty people before the court, secure a conviction, and lock them away where they belong. They will search and search and search and search, and they needed to find Quinton so that this potential conviction could stick. They weren't slowing down. Yes, their resources were being filtered out to Billy Joe's home unnecessarily. But I don't think these people understand how painstakingly slow this sort of process is. You're not just like bouncing around in a bloody landfill, just grabbing any bag, ripping it open, oh, nothing in there, move on, flicking it over your back. Like you have to go through one bag at a time in a very orderly fashion. You've got to extract anything that may be evidence. It's a long, slow process. And these poor bastards that had to do it, the first thing I thought of yesterday was, thank God they don't have to keep looking. I mean, maybe they still are because partial remains, but maybe they are still looking. You guys standing outside that house took resources away from what they were focused on, which was finding evidence so they could charge Leilani. Standing outside that house yelling, calling people whores and everything else under the sun didn't put the heat under the cops to keep going when they were about to give up. And I'm surprised by Mallery because this is not the Mallery that I used to watch a year ago.
He didn't dare. You know, he was pulling money from wherever the hell he could find it because he knew He knew there would be hell to pay at that point. We had already invoked all of the interest and the rage of this community, the community members, right?
Oh my God, I just went on such a rant. I need to put this back up for a sec. I don't know how much you heard me say, but what I was basically saying was if you have a look in Mallory's chat, there's that dodging bullets, thank God they kept on the search. But look up the top, right? Justice for all. We got people to see who Quinton, they didn't even spell Quinton. He hasn't spelled Quinton's name correctly. And how often does that happen? Have you noticed Molly Golightly never gets the names of victims right? She's currently calling Kaylee, one of the Idaho 4 murder victims, Casey, and has been for days. So he hasn't even spelled Quinton's name correctly. We got people to see who he is around the world in that county because of us. The protesters, are you fucking kidding me? Like I said, you can go onto YouTube and just put Quinton's name into the search bar and you will see there were literally hundreds and hundreds of YouTube creators discussing this case from the get-go. But just for the all around the world, let me just, I'm trying to, I've got to stop Mallery for a sec. Okay, hang on, present. And this is why I'm troubled by this, because it doesn't take much to just disprove all this bullshit. But the problem to me is that it's the people in these chats. I'm just going to highlight. That believe this shit. Like, I know we're not going to change their minds. I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not allowed to stop Mallery doing what she wants to do. But I'm out to debunk some of the crap that's going on. But if you have a look here, I typed in ABC News, which is an Australian news service, not the American one. And search continues for missing 20-month-old in Georgia. And that was on October the 9th. He went missing on the 5th of October. This was in the Australian news. So you had nothing to do with this. And how dare you think you did? Do you think the rest of the world is like cut off from the US and we don't like have access to news? Do you think we don't have access to Twitter? And he's in the chat saying shit like that and they're like, oh, thank God you kept the pressure on. No one would have found him. You know, it would have been, he'd still be missing if it wasn't for you guys and all the pressure that you kept on. Oh, my God. I mean, you could type Quinton into Google and look at articles from all over the world. You can type in Vietnam and it's reported there. Exactly. And I've whinged about supply demand so much, Jen Lou. Oh. All right, let's get Mallery back up. It's also her chat that's disturbing, and I just don't understand this delusion that everyone's just buying into it. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe people would have gone into chat and gone, what the fuck are you on? Or what are you talking about? This is such bullshit. Maybe they've already been blocked. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I power walked up and down the beach this morning listening to this.
We were able to do that. All of us in tandem, we all had our own contributions, not only online, but in person. Just interacting with one another, feeding off of one another, talking to the community members. Do you know how many community members I met that day and are now following the House of Williams, right? Who have continued to hear.
Wow. Okay. All right. So we're building subs. Great.
My message. Same with Justice for All. Same with Bullhorn Betty, right?
All of them have got new subscribers. Woohoo. It was worth it, wasn't it?
Listen, we have to be proud of what we did over there. And this is why we do it. This is why, I said I was compelled. I felt compelled to go there.
Compelled by the power of Greystoke or whatever it used to be. What was that? Like, it's like Mallory's drunk the Kool-Aid or something. I mean, look, keep on drinking it if you want to, but my advice is take the Gucci sunnies and run. Don't look back. Run, run, run. Put them in your rearview mirror. Do an Eddie Vedder. Rearview mirror the fuck out of all of them.
Because I knew something wasn't right in that household. This particular case spoke to me. It struck a chord with me. I knew that I needed to be part of this. And I am so proud of...
Oh my God, I'm just reading. My God, I love our community too. Thank God for you. Thank goodness for YouTube, or I wouldn't know what's happening in the world. I was kind of cheering for the crazy lady that showed up to harass him. Me too. You don't know me at all. I was a fan of the crazy lady. Yes, Jen Lou, channel your rage. Get your trouble on the treadmill. Letting Molly feel... Yeah, she did feel her up. That was awkward. The power of grace... Skull, yes. Oh, yeah, and it gets worse, Scout. It keeps going. Keeps going. And that's what I mean. Like, this isn't... Mallery ain't the person that I used to know. But like I said, she's a grown woman. She can go where she wants and do what she wants. It's just a bummer that she, she was so funny when she used to roast people on YouTube with her list. Were any of you around back in the day when... I mean, originally she was Mallery Williams, and then she was Lovers Inc. for a while. I mean, not originally, but a year and a bit ago when she sort of came back into the YouTube arena. I used to love putting her on. She was brutal and funny as fuck. Sitting out in her backyard, going through a notebook.
I'm just so proud that you all thought enough of me to help me get there and support me while I was there, truly. And so what...
And this is the thing, people do like the creators they follow and they will be generous and help. But it's sort of like everyone in the chat's all just in this weird, you guys are amazing. I mean, she's been compared to Nancy Grace. Like, I'm just... It is a laughing matter. I'm sorry. The sign in the back, this is totally a laughing matter.
What we're going to do today, people, in honor of this arrest, which is they're charging her with malice murder, which apparently, listen, malice murder, for anybody who you don't know, is the most serious murder charge that Georgia has to offer. It can carry up to life in prison or the electric chair. I'm sorry, let me say death penalty. I sometimes say electric chair, but listen, old Sparky, as we call
it. In chat, I'm proud of my fabulous 5.
Here in Florida. Listen, so it is a very serious charge. I mean, listen, I wouldn't hold your breath for the death penalty. I wouldn't, but let's not worry about that today. Let us just take a moment, people, right? Everybody has worked so tirelessly, right?
The people combing through the landfill. Yes, they have.
with so many live streams.
Nothing to do with YouTube.
So much energy they put into this.
Angry, abusive, calling people whores in public in a residential street.
Tirelessly.
Arrests.
Tirelessly keeping Quinton's name out there. Even
Quinton's name was out there. This isn't because of heels on the ground. His name was out there. And like I said, if you punch in his name into the YouTube search bar, there are hundreds of channels I've never even heard of that were covering his story from the get-go. This has got nothing to do with you guys rocking up into... In fact, let's have a look at realistically. Let me just check chat. I can't get through all the GDs she drops. And I'm like, what's GD? She straight lost my ass in support with the shitty behavior. It's a bit Jim Giant. Exactly. It's very cool, lady, isn't it? Old Sparky is in Florida. Is Jim being played by MGL? Could be. I don't know who Old Sparky is. The people working with the police and the FBI. Exactly. Takes a ton of energy to wrestle a bullhorn away from a woman who weighs 102 pounds. God. Oh, gotcha, Ep. So what? Gotcha. You plead ignorance. Okay. Let's actually have a look at what they did achieve. They didn't lead to Leilani's arrest. Finding, sadly, Quinton's remains, partial remains, is what led to the arrest. But let's have a look at what Heels on the ground did actually achieve. Let's have a little reflect on what their hard work achieved in the name of this poor little 20-month-old baby. Fifth protester arrested at Quinton Simon's home. Police chief responds. We want to know where this baby is. Protesters demonstrate outside home of Quinton Simon. These are news channels at the moment, by the way. Police arrest 4 protesters outside missing Savannah toddler Quinton Simon's home. Police give update on Quinton Simon case. Oh, sorry, that's a new one. But it probably mentions the protesters somewhere in the description. Police say protesters outside Quinton Simon's home turned case into money-making circus. Tensions run high outside Quinton Simon's home as search for toddler continues. Police arrest 4 protesters, and it goes on and on and on and on. Tensions run high. I mean, does any of this sound positive? I mean, that's just what came up for typing in protesters. Well, these will all be about Leilani being charged. I'm trying to think of what the other one I looked up. But, I mean, as we know, the police actually eventually, and I'm sure there were more videos in the last time I searched for that, because it mentioned things like them, does it go back to him again? Oh, here we go. It's so sad about the grandfather dying in the hit and run. Police arrest heckler. But there were things about the authorities, making them leave the area, talking about the 50 call-outs that they had to do to the house when people, there's another one, Quinton Simon protesters warn police they will start protesting at Billy Joe's house again. And it just was an absolute fucking mess. It was an absolute mess. There's none in that list that say, wow, Aren't these protesters doing great stuff? Have you noticed that? It was twerking for justice. Twerking for justice. Let's all sign up for that. All right, back to reacting. I'm going to jump forward a bit because I want to get to where the press conference is. Here we go. This is where it gets really odd. There's no volume actually playing. I want to get to the bit that I was listening to on the beach. I don't know why the weird music stopped. There was definitely... Oh, here we go.
Chatham County Sheriff's Office and Department of Natural Resources all had officers searching the landfill alongside our officers from the FBI. The support of the Chatham County Emergency Management Agency.
Why? Why would you do that? Look, I can be a potty mouth too. Don't see where the protesters helped track down the rubbish ship, let alone which part to even search. Well, they didn't. And I mean, I don't even know if they were allowed to either. I mean, the police often will recruit volunteers to help with searches, but I imagine the ones going through the landfill, I mean, they were in full-on hazmat outfits and all of that sort of stuff because it was, you know, they needed to protect the evidence. Yeah, they take away all the resources and... I don't get the music, though. Why this weird clowny music?
Chatham Emergency Services, Chatham...
Like, is that sort of just trying to make fun of the... Is that implying that the police are, like, they're the clowns? Is that what's going on?
Occupational safety and health.
I don't want to be rude, but there's a person in her chat who said the whole family is heartless and soulless, and they've spelt whole HOLE.
Savannah Police and Savannah Fire also were invaluable in this massive effort. Finally, I would like to thank the many people who showed their support for our department during this incredibly difficult and important investigation. We appreciate that.
But is that the point of this creepy music? Hecklers helped, in my opinion, but not hecklers. And then there's people dancing with clown, like circus tents and tragedy and comedy masks and flamenco dancers. Because that's appropriate to do that while you're listening to a press conference explaining a mother has now been charged with the murder of her baby. There's one lady yelling Leilani's name who, frankly, the CIA should hire because her voice would break any person and get them to confess. Brilliant. And that's one thing I think people really need to remind themselves of. If you are genuinely interested in true crime, and these people are not, this is not true crime. They are not true crime people at all. The one thing you learn very early on is any police investigation is going to be incredibly slow because they want to get it right. They get one shot. They don't want to lay charges and there's not enough evidence and a conviction doesn't stick and that person walks. And it can take years. Look at all of the cold cases that have been solved now because of DNA technology that would have solved it back at the time if that technology had obviously been around. Like, it can be an unbelievably slow process. And there's a lot of tactics too that the cops have to use, like surveillance. And I'm sorry, but protesters based outside somebody's house when they're potentially wanting to do some, some undercover work, a bit of a stakeout, surveillance, that sort of stuff. These guys are getting in the way of that. But an investigation is precise, it's methodical. A lot of things have to be tested. Results don't come back immediately. You want that charge to stick. I think it's her way of taking the piss, saying the whole thing was a circus. Very Aussie slang for you non-Aussies. Yes, it is. And it wasn't a circus. The circus was you guys, heels on the ground. And I don't know why you can't see that, or at least show a bit of humility. And I don't understand why so many people in your community don't see it. They're all praising God that you exist and that you've brought this arrest around. You had nothing to do with it. You interfered with the course of justice. One day, someone is going to walk free because of this bullshit. Oh, that's what you said, did you? I missed it. But yeah, the initial plan to watch Leilani and see what she did. Exactly. And the good trick. Perfect. Yep. Spot on, Jen Lou. Yeah, 6 years with Delphi. Exactly, Sandra. And also, you hear these guys complaining about, well, we're not being given all of the evidence and all of the facts. Why should you? It's an ongoing investigation. It's got nothing to do with you. And all the stupid shit they do, like as a former criminal defense barrister, I'm sorry, but these guys were a dream. They would have been an absolute dream for me if I ended up on a case that they'd meddled with, because the first thing I would have done would have been to have the babysitter struck as as not being a credible witness, because she's given two completely different accounts to YouTubers. I'd be like, well, she's not credible. Get rid of her. And the prosecution would be like, she's our star witness. Well, not anymore. She's not. Your Honor, have a look at these YouTubers. Look at the different versions she's given. Look at all the people reacting to these videos and discussing it. She's got to go. And while we're at it, let's talk about how we're going to impanel an impartial jury, because of how social media is meddling with our jobs now and getting into people's homes. Like, if anyone in the chat, if this person we're watching right now, Your Honor, is impaneled today, I'm going to be challenging them too. Yeah, well, I mean, we just had a cold case in Australia. It took 40 years. In fact, we just had one the other day. The Bondi Beast, they now call him. But in the 1980s in New South Wales, in Bondi Beach, there was a guy who was a serial rapist. And his crimes kicked off in the 80s. He continued through the 90s and even more rapes in 2000. And they've identified him. Unfortunately, he died this year, in fact. But with using DNA, it's been confirmed that he was responsible for up to 31 attacks across Sydney's eastern suburbs between 1987 and 2001. They had a direct match to 12 sexual assault victims' samples. So, yeah, this guy who lived a double life because he was very loved and popular, very dedicated husband, father, and grandfather, and a bit of a, we're described as a kind-hearted hero. Turns out he had a double life. He was also a piece of shit, rapist. And there's potentially more victims. And so, yeah, that's just another example. It can be a very slow process. Hey, Cement Shoes. They're the ones who will get the solicitors going on about not getting a fair trial because of the bloody publicity. Absolutely. And that's exactly what I would be doing. Yep. As a defense lawyer, absolutely. One in Tampa that was solved after 20 years. Hey, Cement Shoes. All right, let's keep going. This clown music, though, I mean, seriously.
Those who kept faith in the system, and waited patiently for evidence we needed to make sure Quinton has every opportunity to receive the justice he deserves. At this point,
hear that? Hear those words? Patiently, waited patiently to see that Quinton Simon got the justice he deserves. Patience. You didn't put pressure on the cops to expedite this investigation. They conducted it the way investigations are conducted. I think Chris Watts has got a lot to answer for because the guy pleaded guilty so quickly and boom, it was over. And I think everyone expects an outcome within, 30 days of someone being charged.
I'd like to turn it over to Will Clark, who has some comments from the FBI.
And we're going to skip through the little FBI fella. Okay. Let's just.
Why?
Okay.
That's correct.
Why do we skip through the FBI guy? Aren't you going to take credit for putting the fire under them too?
Questions and answers. I love that part.
This case had continued. The search found nothing in the landfill. Would you still have been able to make that case for Quinton to have justice, or how significant was this find?
Well, it was very significant, obviously, for obvious reasons. We do believe we had a strong case otherwise, but that would have been in counsel with the Chatham County District Attorney's Office, but we believe we had a strong case otherwise.
You've certainly been very personal about this, and you said at that landfill that day with the picture behind you, you said, we want to make sure we bring Quinton home and we give him a final place of rest. You wanted him to be able to make sure he wasn't in that zone. On Friday, how personal was that find for you?
Well, it was very personal, quite frankly. I mean, there's a lot of aspects to that. I mean, knowing...
Listen, the entire community, everybody that become aware of this, right, by the hecklers, by us hecklers.
No, you didn't. Again, this is insane. Mallery, come on. I know you're smarter than this. It wasn't because of you guys. You actually made an absolute mockery of this child's death. I hate to say it, but you did.
Including the people who lived in that around that street. They didn't even know. Half of them didn't even know they were living across the street or around the corner from a baby killer.
And oh my God, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. They don't, police, like, if they wanted to, say they were watching Leilani, which they would have been doing, and they want to do a bit of a stakeout and all the rest of it, they're not going to go and knock on all the doors of every person in that street and go, hey, by the way, you've probably seen the news stories about this missing baby. There's some baby killers living in that house down the road, just so you know. Just so you know. What the fuck? You actually caused so much chaos in that neighborhood by what you did. And I mean, look, I didn't hear Mallery shouting anything out outside the house. Not saying she didn't. I just kind of saw her almost like an on-the-spot reporter while all the madness was going on. But I saw them yelling at cars and going, there's a baby killer that lives in that house. This person hasn't been convicted yet. Martini Lynn in chat. Am I wrong, or how many subscribers go up since yesterday, which is awesome? Bullhorn Betty is a tiny explosion. I don't know what that means. Two exploding things with a huge impact. Love you all for being there. Why does this lady look like a mashup of Eileen Warnos and Dee Dee Blanchard? Cement shoes, you have a way with words. I actually think Mallory's looking good in this video. Her hair looks good. But that's the compliment I'm giving. And also I used to think when she roasted YouTubers, she did a great job of it. Just don't know how she got caught up in all of this. There's just this delusional thinking going on that I can't get my head around, and it's happening in the chat too.
Half of them didn't even know it until the hecklers showed up. And then holy
fair use disclaimer, fair use disclaimer. No, I just showed earlier the Quinton Simon story was being reported in Australia 4 days after he went missing, and possibly earlier. I just didn't have time to do more research before I hit the go live button.
shit, their streets started filling up with people who like, holy
What I'm saying is Australians knew about it long before you guys rolled into town with your freak show.
shit, I didn't know it was a goddamn baby killer living here. Our property values. And listen.
Wait, what?
You know.
They were saying we didn't know there was a baby killer. Our property values? Really? You're saying all the neighbours, that was their biggest concern? They weren't going, innocent until proven guilty, and what the fuck are you doing in our street? We'd like to sleep, thank you.
You know, people cared. It wasn't just these agencies.
No, people were their eyes were out on sticks, just like all of ours were, going, what the fuck are you all doing? This is ridiculous. I mean, we thought that back when the same shit was happening outside the laundry house, Summer Wells's house. I mean, seriously. We're kind of becoming a bit desensitized to how insane this is, but members of the general public, when you guys roll into their town and their street and this shit's going on, what do you honestly think they're thinking? They're not thinking, oh, thank God all these randoms have rolled into our street and are disturbing our peace. That is the last thing they're thinking. In fact, it's not even the last thing. They wouldn't think it at all. Emily! Aloha!
This is what I want to make clear. Listen, this guy cares as much as the people with the forks up under his ass care. If what I'm saying is, if his community didn't care to the extent they cared, he would care this less, especially when it comes to moving money other places to search that landfill week after week, day after day after day. Tedious, tedious, tedious. You don't dare stop that goddamn search when you got fucking blowtorches right under your booty hole, right?
They weren't blowtorch. He's doing his job. They were all doing their jobs. You took precious resources away from them doing their jobs. Why do you not understand this? They shouldn't have had to attend 50 call-outs to that street. In fact, I heard 50 at one point, but someone in one of their videos the other night, one of the clip channels, I think they said it was 68 call-outs. I mean, seriously. You took resources away from people that already had a painstakingly slow and very sad job to do. They're looking for a baby, a dead baby's remains. And they want to find that dead baby more than anything else in the world so they can get this woman charged and hopefully convicted. And they want to find him, but they're also dreading finding him because they know what it's going to be like when they do find him. Your pitchforks were a pain in the police force's butt, absolutely, but not for the reasons you're claiming.
And the hecklers did that. The hecklers did that, right? Continue.
The hard work that went into.
Oh, yeah, let him continue because Mallery, seriously, I don't know what Kool-Aid you're drinking, but switch back to your big, gigantic gallon thing of water or whatever you used to drink. Like back in the day when you roasted YouTubers for doing shit like this. In fact, not like this, nothing like this, not even close to this. Go back to that stuff and start calling this shit out because you can do it. Don't be part of it. I don't want to tell you what to do. You can do whatever you want. And if you strike my channel, fair use, fair use.
This investigation, everybody, not just Chatham County Police Department, but everybody that chipped in, the FBI, GBI, DNR, Chatham County Sheriff's Office, the civilians, you name it, from A to Z, we were 100% committed.
Notice he didn't thank the hecklers. Oh, you heard 52 as well. I mean, 50 as in 50. Me too, Emily. Well, no, I can't say that. I mean, she makes her decisions and goes where she wants. I don't pin that much hope on anyone on YouTube, so disappointed is probably a bit too a heavier word for me, but I'm confused. I'm definitely confused by her shift. But I love it. He didn't mention the hecklers. Did you notice that? He didn't thank them.
You just want to say civilians because I say civilians.
Wait, what? You own the word civilians? Did she just hang on? What? She says, I say it too. In fact, most people who speak English say civilians.
Baby killer. Half of them didn't even know it until the
Hang on. Oh, here we go.
heckler showed up. And then, holy shit, their streets started filling up with people who like, holy shit, I didn't know.
Yeah, wasn't that fun for them? Their street filled up with people yelling words like whore. And they've got small children, and the kids are like, what's a whore? They were over the moon. They were thrilled. A bit like when Molly and Bullhorn were outside Brian Laundrie's sister's house, and that's how her children found out that their auntie Gabby had died. That was an awesome moment in time, wasn't it? And the sister came out because the kids were terrified and asked them to go away and move on. And there's Molly taking credit, saying she wouldn't have talked if it wasn't for us. She came out to tell you to shut the fuck up. Like, we're watching this stuff. We see what's going on. And then they report it in a way. It's like, that isn't what happened. You broke hearts. And the mother, protecting her babies like a lioness protecting her cubs, comes out and says, please stop this. Move on. That's how her children found out Gabby was dead. I mean, seriously. It's horrible.
Oh, it's a goddamn baby killer living here. Our property values. And listen,
what's that comment about our property? Do you really think that that's what they were worried about? Did someone in that street actually go, there's a baby killer in the street? Oh my God, my property values? I mean, I hope not. But I doubt that's the first and foremost thing in their mind when you guys rolled into town.
That, people care.
But she didn't end the sentence. So what was that? Was that just bullshit for, dramatic effect?
It wasn't just these agencies. This is what I want to make clear. Listen, this guy cares as much as the people with the forks up under his ass care. What I'm saying is, if his community didn't care to the extent they cared, he would care this less, especially when it comes to...
No, he wouldn't. He's a professional who wants to get convictions for criminals. This guy cares way more than any of you screaming banshees ever will.
Moving money other places to search that landfill week after week, day after day after day. Tedious, tedious, tedious. You don't dare stop that goddamn search when you got fucking blowtorches right under your booty hole, right? From the hecklers. The hecklers did that. The hecklers did that.
No, the hecklers
right?
Didn't. We've already covered this bit. But
the
here we
hard
go.
work that went into this
yous.
investigation, everybody, not just Chatham County Police Department, but everybody that chipped in, the FBI, GBI, DNR, Chatham County Sheriff's Office, the civilians, you name it, from A to Z, we were 100% committed.
You just want to say civilians because I say civilians, but what are you going to do?
That's bizarre. All right, put a 1 in chat if you've never used the word civilians. Let me just check what chat's up to. Kids at school, got milk at Coles, got a cheese sausage. Go, Mel Mel. I've been encouraging people with Twitter accounts to send a thank you tweet to. Good girl. Yeah, and the blue hearts as well. They do need to know not all YouTube is wacko. Keep up the good fight, Emily. I think we're all working hard to prove that not everyone on YouTube's a friggin' idiot. It is cringe. See you, lovely Lindy Lou. You have a rocking day too. So, yeah. Okay, Emily and Mel used the word citizens. Anyone else? Put a 1 in chat if you use the word citizens, because apparently Mallery owns it. How did you do that tiny one, Emily? She didn't react to the fact that they didn't thank the hecklers. I guess that was the default. It's like, shit, they didn't mention us. I might just point out that he used the word civilians. You do know that's what the police use to describe the public. Like most of us. See, Jen Lou. Yep, so what's an exclamation mark? Even better. Scout. Well, it was a good boo-boo, Emily. I'd love to know how you did that. Tiny print.
People always use my keywords and
her keywords.
Anyway,
Civilians.
Just
no.
a footnote there.
No. Let's clarify. Groovers is one of my keywords. Lover is one of yours. Civilians, nay.
Committed to bringing justice for Quinton and to appreciate the amount of human effort, the amount of human emotion that goes into a case like this, and to
like Bullhorn Betty, right? Like Molly, you think there was emotion there, right? Or is there emotion doesn't count? Because let me
Their emotion was anger. They screamed like screaming banshees in an angry tone. I love it how this press conference isn't about you guys at all. You're being deliberately not discussed. I mean, if I was him, I'd be like, do I mention the assholes who impeded this investigation and could have actually interfered with the course of justice, or don't I? No, fuck them, I won't. They're blips.
tell you, their emotion was on full fucking blast, baby. Holy shit.
I don't think it was because of how they felt about Quinton Simon, to be honest.
It was contagious. It was contagious.
Contagious. No, it was
appreciate,
offensive.
hopefully, that this comes to a conclusion in terms of a conviction and things of that nature. You have a lot of emotions about that. You also have a lot of emotions as just a general human being, as a person who has children.
By the way, guys, I'm not playing that music. Mallery is.
I'm not trying to say this guy is taking up all of our credit, right? I'm not saying he's
Wait, what?
Like a little bit too much of our credit. But I'm kind of saying he's taking a little bit more than his share. Holy shit. Share the fucking spotlight, bitch. Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Give the fucking hecklers their due. Oh, come on. Come on.
No. I don't know if... I'm wondering if Mallory's taking the piss. Is this a parody? Is this satire? How can she honestly feel this way? I'm starting to think I've been punked. He's taking the credit away from you guys. No credit deserved or warranted. In fact, you're lucky he's not up there delivering some sort of scathing comment about how everything Hills on the ground did was detrimental to Quinton getting justice. Are we watching is this satire, guys? Am I being punked? No, she's not. She's gone after Molly and Justin's subs with this. Hey? They're all going to turn on each other for sure. For sure. I was thinking about it today because I know that Mallery was saying to someone the other day, because someone obviously said something that annoyed her, and she did a little, I don't know if it was a live or a video, but basically explaining how she and Molly have been friends for a long time. And I was thinking, yeah, if I go back through the 4 and a bit years that I've been on YouTube, bouncing around in these communities, Molly's probably the one creator that I could list more ex-friends for than anyone else, because it's all been done so publicly, and she's just burnt through so many people. I mean, the other day she was ripping into Sarah Smiles, and for those of you who, and I don't think Sarah uses that name anymore, but for those of you who were OGs and were aware of Molly back in the day when she had, 3,000 subs, Sarah was her only mod, and she was an absolute gun mod, and she was Molly's ride or die, and they had a huge falling out, and that was one of many. But yeah, she was ripping into Sarah only a week or two ago, and there was a time when Sarah was like the most terrifying mod ever. She was a bloody good mod. But yeah, I mean, Molly goes through friends more than I go through Wheels of Triple Cream Brie, and I go through a lot of that shit, and it shows. I'm pausing to reflect on all the friends that Molly's lost over the years, and I swear to God, she's lost more than. So I'm just waiting for the day that this whole thing implodes, because it will. It will.
You see the impact that has on people. So if
that's
you
it,
step
yeah,
back
Love
and,
Shack.
and
Yeah,
take a moment
she was her bulldog.
to kind of absorb that, I think that if you didn't have any feelings about that, you might have to ask yourself.
Wait, I just saw a comment. What was that? Who hasn't tapped the thumbs up? Yeah, I wish I could say I was being punked too. Is Ashton Kutcher going to pop up behind her? It can't be real life. I know. She joined forces. MGL is paying Mallery to behave. Not really, Sandra. Sandra bringing in the theories. That might make sense, though, because nothing else is right about now. But yeah, Love Shack Sarah, she was a bulldog. And she was incredibly cruel, MGL. Yeah, I know. There was Oni. We should pour some out for all of the MGL's fallouts with the hybrids. Well, when we do, because Molly is going to be in the Misunderstood Empath series I'm doing, that is when we will be able to discuss the long... I mean, she and Laura had a very public falling out. Of course, Oni, well, that was something else. Did I see the drunk? Aren't they all drunk these days? The one when she went to the loo. Yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. That's why I asked Mel the other night when she was cooking if she was going to take her phone into the loo and let us all listen to her doing a wee. Well, they do, but I mean, sometimes it's a case of keep your enemies close, you know, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. But I mean, at the end of the day, they all go through friends on here, like they more frequently than they change their undies. Yeah, the ghost of Oni Pass. I'm sure he is loitering. All right. There's a bit I really want to get to with this because I was on the beach and I'm like, oh, do I do this? And then I was like, no, I want to do some cooking. And then I got home and I'd set up the kitchen to cook. And then I was like, no, fuck it. I need to do this.
A few questions.
It's like, what is evidence collected outside of the search and the remains you guys found on Friday?
If I get a copyright claim for this creepy clown music, I'm going to lose my mind.
Is there any evidence you guys found in the search you guys did, including cell phones or computers or anything that also led to the arrest?
I can't answer that.
Has Leilani's status in the place changed, or did it change prior to the arrest?
No.
Chief, you say this preliminary. You would assume there isn't other human remains in that landfill, but until you get it fully caught, 100%.
Not for nothing, BJ needs to sell that house if she's in a position to sell it, meaning if she's not upside down in it or some bullshit. If she's in a position to sell that house, she needs to sell that shit like any other fucking tragedy house. Listen, how can you fucking walk around a house like that, right? You can't ever have another fucking memory again. You can't escape. Listen, get the fuck out of there. Holy shit, you fucking circus clown. Listen, I gave birth to 2 murderers. Apparently it's what you do. Listen, we all have a talent in this world, right? Your talent is birthing murderers. Listen, there's a fetish somewhere. Listen, everybody's got a fetish somewhere. Listen.
I mean, look, that was a bit weird too. She's sort of like, this is why I feel like I'm being punked, because she's not really driving home the point. She's sort of losing interest before she finishes the sentence. But I do agree, it's a bit unfortunate for sure. The Billy Joe's put 2 murderers on the planet. Well, one confirmed and one now charged with. And I agree too. I think it'd be horrible to be in a house where things like that have happened. I'd be getting out of there too, but it's quite possible everyone else in the street's getting the fuck out of there already. Might be worth sticking around. Well, I don't know. Let's keep going.
I can't get into the high level of detail, but just on some of the preliminary information that we got from the FBI.
The question about what she's doing, I think she's watching I don't know how she's doing this. She's got skills, man. I think she's watching the press conference on her phone because that's how she's controlling the stop and start. I think that's what's going on there, Jen Lou. I agree. The answer should always be yes. No, we're not shutting up. Take us to the loo, Mel. Take us to the loo.
We have a high level of confidence that those are Quinton's remains, and we felt that we needed to make the arrest.
This is no laughing matter, people. This is no laughing matter
today, because
Why do that? Why when he's literally just mentioned Quinton's remains? Why do that, Mallery?
That was the right thing to do.
I see you people out there. I see you. This is no laughing matter. This is very serious. This is a very serious program.
There's a lot of pressure in real life.
Or is she reading chat on a phone? I don't know.
What kind of remains are we talking when you say human remains? Any more specific details about?
No, ma'am. Go ahead.
Chief,
Hi, Sonny.
This case has been one that has made national news. There's been a lot of pressure against you personally.
Hello, baby.
As a mouse protester, as a mouse people in the community, you've gotten a lot of pressure about making this arrest. Standing here today and knowing that you have this.
Hello.
Said, what kind of
By the way, I've not got my truck yet. For anybody that wants to know, I'm still looking. I now need about 13 individuals who would be willing to give me $1,000, right?
Wait, what? Mallery, what the fuck? What the fuck? He's literally talking about finding Quinton Simon's remains. And hasn't got her truck yet. And she needs 13 people to give $1,000. I'm just thinking, I don't think in my close friends and family circle, there are even 13 people that have $1,000 for themselves, let alone to give to me to get a fucking truck. What? This has to be a joke. This has to be a joke. MGL was going to help her get it. Well, she wants 13 subscribers to each donate $1,000. What the? Well, she is gunning for a new truck. I just can't believe she just said that. Rewind. This is not the time or place for this shit.
Everybody's got a fetish somewhere. Listen.
What makes you confident to make the arrest today?
I can't get into the high level of detail, but just on some of the preliminary information that we got from the FBI, we have a high level of confidence that those are Quinton's remains. And we felt that we needed to make the arrest.
This is no laughing matter, people. This is no laughing matter.
I thought I was going to have a bit of fun with this, but I'm starting to feel sick. He literally, the last words, Quinton's remains. This is no laughing matter. It's not. You're right. But you didn't need to jump in like that. But I need to get to the fucker duck truck bit.
Today, because that was the right thing to do.
I see you people out there. I see you. This is no laughing matter. This is very serious. This is a very...
Oh, there's someone in chat called T-Ray. You are my hero, and I love you. T-Ray, what did you do? She got arrested because they found the body. Boom. Mic drop. Where's T-Ray? T-Ray, come to us. Your cat Alice is quite interested in this music. Maybe it's like a magical key that drives cats wild. Like that note that allegedly makes people orgasm. Sunny came over because she normally gets a treat right about now. If I'm home, she gets a little lunchtime treat while I make my lunch because it's nearly midday. Ooh, okay, let's get back to the truck stuff. Yeah, but T-Ray, you belong in our community. Come hither.
very serious program.
There's
When
a
you
lot
say
of pressure
human
in real life.
remains, what kind of remains are we talking when you say human remains?
I've got a feeling, did someone have a hard time, like give her a hard time because she laughed during this, and that's why she's continually saying that? But your timing was lousy.
Any more specific details about?
No, ma'am. Go ahead.
Chief, this case has been one that has made national news. There's been a lot of pressure against you personally with your name as a mouse protester, as a mouse people in the community. You've gotten a lot of pressure about
By the way, I love that you've got a cat named Alice. Sunny approves too.
making this arrest. Standing here today
Jen Lou, that was for you.
and knowing that you have this key piece of evidence that you just said, what kind of
By the way, I've not got my truck yet. For anybody that wants to know, I'm still looking. I now need about 13 individuals who would be willing to give me $1,000, right? It's about a $30,000 truck. But 13 people with $1,000. Listen, now if I fall short, hey, listen, this is YouTube.
If you fall
No
short,
guarantees I'll ever get the truck. But if you want to help get me to the truck, just in good spirit, listen, I need 13 donors for $1,000 each for the holidays. Okay, there you go. I'd love to get that new truck for my 9th year on YouTube coming up. Okay, thank you. All right.
Message you send to the community for people. Hey,
I don't know. Yeah, the empathy meter is very low. I changed what I said earlier. House of Williams is now on the list of the misunderstood empaths of YouTube. The real true crime creator said Leilani would be arrested after his body was recovered, and it looks like she was. Why it's almost like we don't know what the fuck we're doing. Exactly. That's the way criminal law has always worked. Gather the evidence. When you think you've got enough to get a conviction, you lay the charges because you don't want to lay them too early and it goes off to court and they get acquitted due to lack of evidence. It was obvious from the start when they announced that Leilani was the only suspect. They also announced that Quinton was dead and that they were searching for his remains, that until the remains were found, they weren't going to press charges. I mean, that's how that works. There's nothing new or mysterious. Yeah, no empathy whatsoever. I gave her credit earlier. I wasn't sure I'd put her in my series, but you're in now. You only need 4,000 for a van for my show. All right, we need to find 4 people who've got $1,000 to spare to throw it at Ruth right now for her 38th year on YouTube. I don't know how long you've been on YouTube. Your 7th, whatever. Wow.
That really pissed off. Listen, I gotta give the haters something. I gotta give the haters something to fucking, I gotta give the haters something, when I'm driving it off the fucking dealership lot. I gotta give them something, people. Come on. It'll be worth every fucking penny you donate. All right. Holy shit. Martini just gifted 5 memberships to the House of Williams. That is so... Listen, thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, we all missed our chance, guys. If we'd been in there chatting away, we might have been randomly selected to get a membership. And the comment about the haters, was that an afterthought when I don't think she originally mentioned the truck so that she could end with that little punchline about the haters. I think that was an afterthought.
Thank you, Martini. Enjoy your 30-day membership.
Because she wasn't actually saying the haters would have an issue with her asking 13 people to cough up $1,000 each so she could get this fucking truck. Her comment to the haters was how much it'll suck for them if she's driving around in this brand new truck.
Whoever of you have just been fortunate enough to receive a 30-day membership here at the House of Williams. Thank you, my love.
I hope T-Ray gets one. Wouldn't that have been poetic justice if YouTube had randomly selected T-Ray who just had a dig at her? Let's see who got them. I can only see 2 so far.
Well, I didn't honestly feel a lot of pressure, quite frankly, only because I believe that our investigative process, the expertise that we were seeking that was around us, having a little bit of experience, in this profession, I understood people's perspective. I understood that, some...
Thank you, Jamie Smith.
People had their own strong feelings about when an arrest should be made and things that were going on, but we stayed focused.
Let's keep interrupting this press conference, which is basically what we've all been waiting for. The announcement that Leilani's been arrested and charged with murder and that Quinton's remains have been found. Let's keep interrupting it. I mean, presumably someone else has just donated. I don't know what's happened to chat. It's like stopped.
Focus on what we know and what we know how to do.
And guess what? We stayed focused on what we know, Mr. Chief, Mr. Sheriff in town, right? The hecklers, we sure did. We never listen, no matter how many people were coming for us, we knew we were on the side of right. We knew there was a fucking baby killer in that house, and we knew there was some fucked up shit in the soup with people trying to listen.
Until she's actually convicted, she's actually just an accused murderer right now. Like, when did innocent until proven guilty leave the true crime community? Oh, I long for the days, back the good old days when true crime, everyone was mindful that until someone is convicted, they're innocent until proven guilty. And all discussions had to essentially be focused on that fact, that right. I mean, look, we all know Leilani's screwed, and rightfully so. I mean, may the worst possible outcome happen for her imaginable, repugnant human being. But she hasn't been convicted yet, and that's actually a pretty important thing to remember, as much as it might frustrate people. That's the way the law works. And the other thing is that they were interfering. They had numerous call-outs to that street, and the police actually made them move on. So the staying power argument doesn't work either, because you weren't there till the bitter end. You weren't allowed to be there. Neither were your wacky sidekicks.
Circle the wagons, as they say, around said baby killer.
I know I'm going to get struck. I'm sure I'm going to get struck. This is not the Mallery I used to know.
Listen, we weren't having it. We weren't having it.
But then do you really know anyone on YouTube? I mean, you do get Mel and I in particular. You do get us, warts and all. Mel's got a few more warts than me. But yeah, how the mighty have fallen in the YouTube world. It seems to be a pandemic, which is why I can't stop being on here, because it's just like the best living soap opera you could ever conjure up in your mind.
Listen, we know how to stay the course too, right? This isn't our first rodeo. Well, it was kind of mine. It was kind of mine on the scene, right?
Well, Mallery, what did Mallery really do? I mean, I saw Mallery rock up. I saw Molly grope her. I saw her get given a pair of Gucci sunnies that looked good on her. I saw her out the front of the house, and she was thirsty, initially for fluids, and then for the good-looking boys of Savannah, and then she took herself off out to dinner. Like, I don't think I felt she was out of place, and she knew it. It was awkward. It was very awkward.
But listen, certainly not my first time in front of a fucking camera. That's for sure. That's for sure. Let's continue.
And in conjunction with the FBI, we stayed the course. And so
turns out I'm pretty good on camera. Who would have thought? Who would have thought I'm pretty good on camera? Let's continue.
This is getting so weird. This is a press conference about the fact that they've found the remains of a 20-month-old baby that you all apparently are doing all of this for justice for Quinton. When was the last time she said his name in this? And this poor guy's talking about how they've found his partial remains in the landfill, and his mother's now been charged with murder, which is brilliant. But it's just so weird to me. I did out Mel's warts. And mine too, in my defense.
Those folks that supported us, to the citizens that believed in us and believed in our department, I thank you. And for those that had questions, that's their right to do so. This is America. You can have all the opinions you want, but I'm just...
Anyone that's just getting here after this, we're gonna revisit the trip to Savannah, and we're gonna look back, and we're gonna say, huh.
Yeah, no, I'm done. I think that's more than enough. Oh yeah. I wish I had my camera on so you could see my look of confusion, horror, shock, sadness. Share the cream. Share the cream. At least she's not hawking candles. You both have lovely warts. Well, thank you, Ruth. Speaking of warts, yeah. So there you have it. We called it, of course. I mean, not just us. Everyone on the fucking YouTubes that's been watching this shit show would have called it yesterday. I'm not one of those YouTubers that go, I said it first. We knew it was going to happen. And I know that a lot of channels have already reacted to Bullhorn Betty and Molly. Just so happened I was still subscribed to Mallery because I used to be a subscriber. I showed that video I made at the start of the live for Mallery back in the day when she used to have a little notebook and she would roast all the crap she was witnessing on YouTube. And she did a bloody good job of it, sitting out in her backyard on her garden chairs with her huge gallon bottle of water with a straw. I don't know how she ended up caught up in this. I mean, well, I do. We all know what many YouTubers end up doing. They forget about morals and ethics and they join the dark side because that is where the money is. I mean, I think I'm right in saying that, you know, that's been a feature throughout this live we've just reacted to. There's a lot about money. And God help the 13 people sitting in that chat who are like, oh, I've got $1,000 to spare right before Christmas. I'll fling it at Mallery, because somebody will. Oh, we have done a lot of weeding. We have. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to call it out now because I'm enjoying this. I'm not going to lie. And that's very respectful too, Jen. I mean, I keep thinking about Quinton's dad. Like, he's lost both of his parents and his baby, you know, in a 3-week period. Unimaginably sad. All right, we're going to end with another little gem that fell into my lap. Whether you like it or not, I'm doing it. Because as many of you know, I've launched my new series on this channel. Thank you to Ekuta, the misunderstood empaths of YouTube, where creator by creator, we're going to be bringing to everyone's attention the true empaths of YouTube and how misunderstood they are, the motivations behind everything they do and say. It's going to be a blast. And we already have a theme song, which is remarkable. I'd like you all to sit back, take a swig of your mega pint, relax, and enjoy the dulcet tones of Mel Mel. I still feel all things I'm used to, but you can suck my dick. All the blessed ladies, all the families that surround him, all I'm calling from home is my megaphone.
What do we want? Mad face. When do we want it? Now.
I still feel all things I'm used to, but FYI, I'm better than you when you have a face like the sunshine that's being blown 50 times like a car. I also have more money than you, and a big house, and a better car. So fuck you, and your non-existent channel level of sucks compared to mine. Cause I have all the subs and views, and everybody loves me. I don't know looking for a fool. Gotta get up better than you. And cash out me so we find that kid who's missing. What's his name again?
Spot on.
I don't remember. I remember.
Oh, Mel. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for that little gem. And on that delightful note, I'm going to feed myself. It is lunchtime. Oh, yeah, the random high notes. The first time I laughed so hard I jumped through the ceiling. It was brilliant. Jen Lou, I'm so keen to do that anytime, Groover. This was a bit impromptu, but you let me know. And I've got to get Ekuda too. Ekuda's the one who used the term misunderstood empaths in my chat the other day, and I was laughing so much I nearly ran off the road because Ekuda's keen to do some collabing as well. Can you put in your Cash App link? Go for it, Emily. I think we're low on mods on this channel, so do whatever you want. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to this channel already, make sure you do because, I mean, we've done nothing but deliver quality content this morning. Especially that fabulous song at the end. Yeah, Cement Shoes, bad PR. Telling my chat that there's the most hilarious roaster on YouTube. That's my goal. So watch it. One day you'll be in someone else's chat telling people that I'm the funniest roaster. It was a rare treat too, Cement Shoes. It was great fun with Jen Lou. We had a lot of fun. And we will do it again very soon, my friends. Who do I sound like? Oh, I've got issues with the glare too. I did catch a bit of him talking about the Idaho 4 and yeah. Whew. It's one thing to have an opinion. It's another to say it with such conviction that you think it's possible that it is the only opinion worth having when it's clearly not. But that's a topic for another day. So, yeah, that's it from me for now. Batshit will be happening on Better Call Tour tomorrow night. Or is it morning? I'll put up a notification about that one. I spoke to Finn earlier. Maybe tomorrow morning. I'll have to check my message from Finn. Hang on. Let me do it now. Oh, we need all the high notes. Let me tell you when we are batshitting. Finn. Tomorrow morning, Australian Eastern Standard Time, and Scout has bombarded me with stories. It may all be my content, might be 100% from Scout Inquirer at this point. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out, everyone. And look, if this channel gets struck, well, that'll be something else to talk about, won't it? But fair use, motherfuckers. And until next time, don't get hit by, don't get struck by Smooth Criminal. Oh.